Lauren. I just turned 32 last week, and
Hey.
I've been married to my husband for 11 years. We met in college, and we have 3 kids, a 7-year-old boy, a 5-year-old girl, and a 1-year-old boy. I got a master's degree in accounting and business years ago. And then I worked at a Big 4 accounting firm for 3 years. And I wanted to do that because I thought it was something that I could support a family if I needed to, and do from home if I needed and wanted to. So my husband actually did the same thing. He got his master's in accounting, and we started at the same firm, but he hated it, and he ended up quitting his job and going back to school, and he's now in medical school. So I was having our 3rd baby, and funds were getting tight in medical school, and I was tired of being poor and thought, okay, this is the time that I have this degree for, so to support our family and get us through medical school and residency and training, because it's like a 10-year process. So anyway, I was kind of looking for things, and I had done different accounting things as people would come to me for it, kind of on the side, after I decided to stay home with my 2 kids. But I was started looking for more, and then Tiffany's ad popped up for her book that's $5. And so I got that and read through it, and I did everything in that book before I decided to join. And then I talked to my husband about it, and he was like, okay, sure. So I purchased the course, and within, I think, 2 months, I had my first client. Let's see. I bought the book in September of last year. I think I bought the course in October. By November, I had my first basic bookkeeping client. By December, I had a large client. January, I had my 3rd client. So I have those 3, but I set a 12-month goal, and I'm almost there with just those 3 clients. So it's
Amazing.
very well. It's gone very well, and I'm very happy about it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about those clients? Like, what industries are they in? What services are you providing for them? And how many maybe hours you work on the actual work?
Yep. So the first one I got was a high school friend of mine. It's 2 high school friends that own a landscaping company in Utah, where I'm from. And I started with just basic bookkeeping, and my minimum that I charge is $400 a month for that. So I started with that, and then I slowly started realizing that they wanted me to do more. So we added class tracking. So I added another $100 for class tracking. Oh, I also had cleanup for all of these clients. So I got like $1,650 from my first client for cleanup work. My second client, I actually got $12,000 for cleanup work. And my 3rd client, I'm actually not even sure how much I got for that one. My 3rd client is a real estate developer, and he has 6 projects that I am doing for him. And he wanted basic bookkeeping, plus he wanted me to communicate with lenders on occasion and help him with that. And so I'm charging him $500. I said $500 per project, and then I said I do a 10% discount for all of them. So I'm charging $449. Sorry, I'm outside. Is that really loud?
It's okay. We can hear you perfectly fine.
So $449 per project from him, and then all of those projects have had some cleanup, and that I have charged 50% per month of cleanup that he's needed. So some of them have needed 3 months of cleanup, some of them have needed a year. So anyway, he actually just added him. I think there were 3 or 4. He just added another one in like March, and then he just added another one last week. So we're at 6 with him now. Then my larger client is they do like foundation repair, waterproofing, crawl space cleanup, stuff like that. And I'm doing a lot for them. I do closer to like controller work and some like CFO bookkeeper stuff for them. So I'm charging them $4,000 a month. I spend the most time on them. So Mondays I dedicate to my other 2 clients. Monday during nap time is my landscaping client. Monday at night is my real estate developer client. And then I try and touch base with them either via email or phone that day as well, just depending on what works for our schedule. And then the rest of the week during nap time and at night is my other client, the larger client. And so timing wise, I'm spending maybe 2 hours on my landscaping client, maybe 2 hours on my real estate developer client per week. And then I would say that's the high end too. Oh, and my landscaping client also is about ready to add accounts receivable services as well. He wants to get his recurring customers set up on with bank drafts and things. So I'm talking to him about like 200 or 250 additional per month from him. And then my larger contractor client, I'm spending probably like 20 hours a week on, maybe on the high end. And I do go, they're local to me, so I do go into their office once a week for an hour-long meeting. I'm in North Carolina right now, which is 3.5 hours from my home, so I'm just doing Zoom meetings this week with them. But
awesome.
So, and that contractor client is purchasing a new entity in another state. So this coming week, I'm going to have another phone call about an additional engagement letter for the additional entity.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
That's awesome. So based on your hours that you work, have you figured up an effective hourly rate approximately? Do you think you're hitting $100 an hour or more?
Probably just under, but really close to that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. So I love what you've said, because what you're really saying is that you've got, a handful of these clients, and what's great about it is as you learn more and develop some extra skills, you can always upsell them into higher packages, so you don't have to necessarily go out and look for a lot more clients, because you can keep learning and keep offering more services. Plus, as they grow and they have new businesses, they're going to just be increasing what they need with you. And then another really cool thing is a lot of these business owners are connected with so many other businesses, so you end up getting referrals from your clients pretty quickly, especially when you do a good job. So it's really not too terribly hard to find clients. You didn't feel like it was too hard. You had your first one within a couple of months. So
yeah, the couple were high school friends, and then the second one was a referral from my sister, who she had worked with in the past. And then this third one I met through a different avenue that I used to do, a direct sales thing that I used to do.
Okay.
And she contacted me and said, hey, my husband's business needs an accountant. And so
that's fantastic. So what we usually say to people is, the first thing you need to do when you start marketing your bookkeeping business is literally just telling the people that are already in your circle, because you may not even realize that somebody that or someone that knows someone that needs a bookkeeper. And just by letting people know what you're doing is sometimes enough. So do you mind sharing again what your total monthly reoccurring revenue is from these clients?
So with the additional project for my real estate developer client that I just got this month, I'm at $7,094 a month of recurring.
Awesome. That is so great. That is fantastic. I'm so excited for you.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
I just want to add, I know you said that there's some people in this group who have degrees and and things, and one of the things my husband said to me was like, well, do you really need to pay for this course? And I said, well, I could probably go figure it out on my own, but you gave me, and the course gave me the confidence and just like streamlined it, so I didn't have to go figure out all these things on my own. And it was just that confidence builder of like, yes, I can do this. I do have the knowledge and things to go out and serve these clients, and they have been over the moon excited and happy with what I've been able to do for them. So
that's great. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your story too. It's very helpful for me and helpful for everybody in the group. So I'm really excited. But yeah, that's kind of the point of the course. Anyone can do this without the course. You can definitely do this. You can learn all these skills on your own. I had my degree also, and I had my CPA license, and I worked and I had experience, but I still had to learn all this stuff on my own. And I tripped up over myself many times, and it was trial and error. And, you know, being able to streamline it is very helpful. And just knowing that what you're doing is the right thing, because that can be the hardest thing in business sometimes, is knowing,
And then
you
it's
know,
worked for others too. You know, it's already
yes,
proven.
yep,
So.
absolutely. Yeah. So tell me about, what are your goals with your business? Are you going to kind of keep it as it is while your kiddos are still little? Are you planning on growing, building a team?
Well, last year, I'm not a homeschool mom, but last year I decided to homeschool my oldest. And then I started this business kind of in the middle of that. And like I said, my husband's in medical school. I also had my baby turned 1 in March. So like kind of crazy going on. So I did join a group, a local business group, just try growing my network and try to gain some more clients. I'm going to be more active with that. I am putting both my older kids back in school in the fall. So I'll be more active about that when that happens. So when I started the business, my 12-month goal was $100,000 in monthly recurring. $100,000 in annual monthly recurring income. Does that make sense? So I think that works out to be like $83.33 per month. So I'm like $1,200 away from that. And also had a goal of $100,000 of income in my first 12 months, which I will make with all of the cleanup work done. So then thinking forward for what my next goal is, since I've almost hit that, I thought I don't want any one of my clients to be more than 10% of my revenue. So that means that large client, that means I need $40,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Well, that's a huge goal. But if I get, you know, a handful more of the larger clients that I have, I'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So then your goal would be 140 in annual?
So 40 per month. So what
Oh,
is
okay.
that?
Oh, 40 per month. Okay. So let's see what that is.
I don't know what that
I
is.
got to get out my calculator. So 480,000.
Yeah,
So
that's the next big goal.
yeah, you can
I don't
definitely do that.
anticipate that happening in the next 12 months, but I've just thought I don't want to lose a client and have it totally destroy my business. So I don't want any one client to be more than 10%, and that's what that means.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great plan, because that is one thing that I really liked. I went back and forth quite a bit when I was doing my business on whether or not I wanted to have a lot of small to medium-sized clients or a couple of big ones. So it is sometimes a little nerve-wracking to have some big ones, because you count on that, and one small decision could change your entire financial situation. So yeah, so I totally understand that. It's a great goal. But $480,000 might sound like a lot, but it's a totally doable goal. Totally.
Thank you for the confidence, Fish.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We're going to do another success story soon with Cassie and Ryan. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I read a comment that they have hit $1 million in revenue in a very short time, like in less than a year, I'm pretty sure. They outsource the work, so they stay in the marketing role, and they don't keep 100% of that, because they pay their team to do it. But I mean, just being able to find clients and hit that revenue goal, I mean, it's definitely out there.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable. And
Into that one.
yeah. And with the pricing that we talk about in the course, and the pricing that you're definitely following, that's really only, I think, for 500,000, you can get by with a full-time person, you and a full-time person working.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can really still keep the good majority of that profit too. So yeah. All right. So let's see. I think we have a few questions. Teresa says, how much time do you spend physically on location with your clients, gathering receipts and communication with them?
0.
Awesome. Yep.
I go to my one client an hour a week for a meeting, but they were very, and the previous person that they had doing it was very paper obsessed. And I have converted them electronically. So we set up an email. It's their company email, but it's accounting@theircompanydomain.com. And they send all of she just like scans bills in and things that I need to see so I can access them online through the email. And then they set up a receipts at theircompanydomain.com. And so all their crew members and things send their receipts there. So again, I can just access them, and then I save them and name them so I can sort them and find them easily and add them to transactions. So it's none.
Perfect. Yep. I had the same experience. A lot of my clients were local just from networking when I had my business, but I did everything virtual. And then we ended up moving about an hour and a half away from where a lot of my clients were, and didn't lose any of them. Really didn't see any of my clients for like 18 months. I didn't even see them at all. So it's, yeah, really easy to do without having to do anything in person. So Tanya says, is it possible for someone who doesn't have all the same education or experience to be able to take on these types of clients? So what do you think about that? Based on what you've seen in the program and the course and the clients that you've dealt with, what's your opinion on that?
So Tiffany's course and the QuickBooks Pro Advisor definitely teaches you what you need to know what I'm doing. It's not rocket science. I didn't need my degree to do what I'm doing for my basic clients. I will say that my large client, who I'm doing more like controller, CFO bookwork stuff, I think my experience and my degree helped me get that client because they had someone who knew how to use QBO and had done it for like 10 years, but she didn't have the background that I did. And so they were growing. They've gone from like a $2 million company to a $5 million company in just a year. And she didn't know the types of questions to ask. Anyway, so that large client, I would say it helps, but you can definitely grow into that if you just keep following what Tiffany's trainings are teaching you, and learning it as you go.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And so you will maybe from time to time run into, I got somebody that woke up without me.
Hello.
Say hi. Can you say hi? Aren't you tired? Yeah, you may from time to time run into clients that maybe are requesting services that you don't quite know how to do. And when you have that option, or when you run into that, you have a couple options. You can, let them know you'd love to help them with this, but you're going to have to look into some things and just be upfront and honest and learn as you go. And obviously rely on.
Definitely, there are times that they ask me questions that I do not know the answer to, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I find out who their CPAs are, and I just talk to their CPA too. Say, hey, we ran into questions. What do you think? Or I'll just say, hey, talk to your CPA about that. Tell me what they say, and then we'll handle it on the books the way that you suggest. Because I'm not a CPA, and I want to work with them, and I'm comfortable working with them, and I think it's a good relationship to have.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And yeah, exactly. No matter how much training or certifications you have, you're always going to run into something that you haven't seen before. I mean, there's just with the complicated tax law that we have out there, and the way we have to do the books to try to comply as much as possible with the tax law, you're always going to run into something that you haven't seen. I mean, it's just how it is. And so you can find answers to that by Googling and researching and stuff like that. You can join our support group where you can find answers faster from people that have already been there, which is so cool because once you do learn something, then you can apply it to all of your clients. But a lot of our students have learned different things because they've worked with different clients. So just being able to rely on that and posting a quick question in there and saying, oh yeah, I have this client with that same issue, and people share that stuff all the time, and that's really helpful. Yep. So, and then the other option, if you do run into a client like that, is also client sharing. I mean, so you could take on a client and outsource the work to somebody that you know in the group that knows how to do this. So if you take on a client that needs something and you know that Lauren can do it, work out a deal with her, to help that client and revenue share for you generating the lead. There's always options like that, and even just referring to other bookkeepers too. So that
Yeah,
goes a long way.
I always said that my Big Four experience did not teach me everything, like not
Mm-hmm.
even close, but
Yeah.
it taught me where to find things. And Tiffany's group is definitely a place where you can go to find what you need to know. So
Yep. Yep. So that's awesome. So let's see if we got any more questions real quick. Nope, I don't think so. Okay, so what would be, is there like one tip or trick or a couple pieces of advice that you would give some of the new people in the group that are considering doing this or have just recently launched?
if you haven't and you're thinking about it, just do it. Like, just get in there and dive in and do it. Secondly, just let the group and the support like be a confidence builder. Like when I had 3 meetings with my large client before they signed my engagement letter, and every time I would literally sit in my car and say, okay, you are capable, you know what you're doing, you're strong, like just go in there, say what needs to be said, get the client, and you'll figure it out. I fully expected to not know how to do everything, and I haven't, but I figured it out, and they've been extremely happy. So just be confident in yourself. No one knows everything about the job that they're going to be doing, but just being committed to figuring it out is really, I think, all that matters.
Yes, I love that advice because people often ask me or they say, well, you're a CPA, so you can't possibly be nervous talking to clients or nervous growing your business. But it's really no different. It doesn't matter how much education or background or experience you have. It's still scary to talk to clients the first few times. You still have to convince yourself and make sure you try to remain confident as possible. So that's the biggest battle is mindset and feeling confident. So yes, leaning on the group for support and confidence is perfect. Angela asked if you could give her any tips for getting large clients. She wants some larger clients.
So I would start with like going through your contacts and your Facebook friends and things and looking at who's a small business owner. And then I would join a local group of business owners. People who are in those groups, I can't remember what the one's called. It's not a BNI group, but it's like a Central Virginia Business Coalition or something. And then there's a second one that's like the Business Alliance, and they have bigger companies. Anyway, people who are in those groups, I think, are a lot more serious about their business too, and they want to give their business to the people in the group, and they're good at networking. They understand the value in that, and so I think doing something like that would be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, put your arm down, baby. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time and sharing your story and inspiring others to take this leap and make this journey.
Thanks for having me.